A friend of mine, Judy, asked the question, Keith, how can I induce an out-of-body experience? Well, that would be half of it right there, is the want to do it. Other people may not know that you can have an out-of-body experience, so they don't ever really remember them, though we have them every night. Some people may know about it and don't want no part of it, which is another reason to shut them off completely. But understand that there really is no such thing as out-of-body. Actually, you just go to a different aspect of the spirit, the soul, or yourself. For example, out-of-body travel, say if you want to go to Hawaii, you basically just shift to that part of your soul that is Hawaii. And in that shifting, that flying, moving sensation you feel is what feels like the actual travel. Now, when I was a kid, the way I would induce an out-of-body experience was I would just create toys, imaginary toys. For example, if I wanted to get out, I would create little cranks or little buttons or bells I would ring. I even created the idea that when I would hear an outside noise when my body was sleeping, that would be a reason to trigger for me to come to a state of consciousness. It all worked. Also, you can do the charged water technique. Put a glass of water on your night table, and you put your hands around it, and you charge the water with your intention, and you drink it just before bed. Another way that works, and I strongly suggest you do it for other reasons, for peace and clarity, would be meditation. Now, meditation, as you start breathing, in and out, and I suggest through your mouth, in and out through your mouth. Start off slow, and then begin to pick up the breath, deeper, faster, deeper, faster, deeper, faster, till you literally begin to breathe such as this. And what happens is, you start shifting consciousness, you start shifting energy, you start moving energy. You're going to start feeling a buzz, and hear a buzz, sort of like that. And when you get to this state, you're on the verge of having an out-of-body experience. Now, what you can do at this point is another technique called the rocking technique. And you swing yourself back and forth, and you try to launch yourself out. But it's all about the will. It's all about using your will to project yourself from where you are to where you want to go. You may want to go to a planet. You may want to watch a star being born. You may want to find your favorite angel. You may want to find a loved one that's deceased. I've done all of them. I've met with angels. I've met with extraterrestrials. I've seen planets being born. I've seen it. Perfect example was a friend of mine, my guru, I guess you can call him, was putting me into a meditative state. And in this meditative state, I was doing the heavy breathing, and I felt all the energy come in, and I black out. 30 seconds maybe. No big deal. I came back to a state of consciousness, my eyes still closed, right back into my meditation. And then it was over. He asked me how I felt. I said, it was great, no big deal. The next night, I go to a club, I'm playing music, and a friend of mine happens to walk in at one particular moment, and I went, oh my goodness. All the memory came flooding back. She comes in, sits next to me, I give her a hug and a kiss. Say, hi, how are you? And I said, I'm going to ask you something. I need you to be really, really honest with me. It's very important. She says, okay, Keith, sure, what's up? And I said, Tammy, what were you doing yesterday about 5 o'clock? She goes, I was with my boyfriend, Phil. I said, what were you doing? She goes, well, we were going to the mall. I said, okay, don't tell me anymore. I said, I saw you. I was in the back of your car. She said, what do you mean, Keith? She goes, oh, please don't tell me one of these spiritual things. I said, please play this out. And she said, all right. I said, I was in the back of your car. I was at the dome light looking down on the experience. Tammy's the type of person, she drives everywhere she goes. That's just how she is. I said, I saw you in the car. You were with someone. She said, I was with him. I saw that you had brown pointed shoes on. You had baggy pleated blue jeans. And by this time she's going, oh my goodness. I said, you had a blue shirt on with a pin or something? She said, yep, that was from my grandmother, that she did not have on that night when I saw her again. And I said, what was odd was I saw you wiping the seat down with a piece of white material. And by this time, she is like totally freaking out. And I said, you were the passenger. She goes, wow. I said, does this make any sense? She says, my God, Keith. She goes, Philip and I were going to the mall. I left my window open so it rained in the car. I was using a white towel, which is still in the back seat of my car, and I'll show it to you if you want. It's a no, believe me, I know it's there. She was to wipe the water off my seat, and I was a passenger, and he was driving my car. She wore the clothes that I described. But here's the funny thing. Tammy drives wherever she goes. And just so happens that day, he drove her car. How often do you let people drive your car, especially if you're riding in your own car? So I've done this many, many times. But something else I want you to know about is vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is really, really good for inducing out-of-body travel. Take 300 milligrams before you go to bed. Now remember, vitamin B6. Do not take B-complex or B12. It's vitamin B6. 300 milligrams before you go to bed. I weigh 135 pounds. I'm 5'5". Don't take any more than 300 milligrams because you'll just get very superficial sleep and you remember useless mind garbage, things that just have no benefit whatsoever. Maybe 200 milligrams is right for you. 1.5 tablets is right for you. Just find your dosage, and you take it 2 or 3 days. Don't take it for a while, 2 or 3 days, 4 days maybe, because some of it stores in your body and there's no use in wasting the product. But something I want you to know also is, if you find yourself at any point, whether you use the vitamin B technique or any technique at all, or none, that you find yourself in what they call this hypnagogic state, or this sleep paralysis state, what's happening is, the reason you cannot move, you may be aware of the room and think you're awake, and you try to move and you can't, because it's to protect you, because in that state, you don't want your body just to get up and start walking around when you're not in your body, because you would hurt yourself. And some people actually do have these sleeping disorders. But if you find yourself in that hypnagogic state, imagine this. This is your body laying on the bed, and this is your spirit. And your spirit is ready to travel, or it's ready to free itself from the body, so to speak. But because you're not informed of the ideas of how to do it, you seem to be locked. That's why you can't move. You feel like you're in just concrete. Now, just remember, and that moment, if this happens for you, tell yourself, oh my gosh, I can induce an out-of-body experience. And just will yourself wherever you want to go. Remember, when you get out of body, it's really not out of body, again, it's in here. When you shift, if you find yourself in an experience that's not pleasant, some nasty little beings, you're in a place that's just uncomfortable, whatever the situation may be, it can't hurt you. No one has ever died from an out-of-body experience. You can just shift your consciousness to a higher plane. Imagine you create a little bell, or a crank, and you turn it or you ring the bell and raise your vibrations, go someplace where they can't follow you, blast the situation with light, or you can just wake up entirely. It doesn't matter. But there are lots of things there for you to explore. It's fantastic. It's one of my joys. In fact, I did it this morning. I've met with angels many times. You think of it, you create it. I hope these techniques work for you. Write me back. I would love to hear your progress. I'd love to hear about your experiences, and who knows, I may make a vlog out of them, put them in a book. And again, thank you for the questions, and have a blessed day. Namaste.